Madam Speaker, let me go into projections for 2011-2012. I've mentioned some of them. I will nonetheless quickly go into them. The Gros Islet Human Resource Development Center, the fastest growing community, the metropolis of St. Lucia, the community of Gros Islet, Madam Speaker, with a population perhaps doubling. No, not doubling. There are some areas where we have 5 times the population, but we have what I described as a community center that does not serve that purpose. So, in this financial year, a Human Resource Development Center will be built in Gros Islet. It will be built where the current preschool is housed, because the preschool will be moved to be housed behind the Gros Islet Library, Madam Speaker. It is at an advanced stage. As you can see, I have the concept drawings. The architects have already produced the working drawings. Work will begin by next month, and we are hoping to complete this building by the end of this year. This building will provide a conference room facility. It will provide an exhibition room, a training room, a restaurant, and a theater. The member for Important Officer not around? A theater, Madam Speaker, to provide for the arts. Madam Speaker, that theater, however, given the fact that this is a multi-purpose center, the theater will be equipped with retractable seats, so that should you need a hall, the seats can be retracted and you have the services of a hall, Madam Speaker. That is a project that I'm sure the Gros Islet residents are looking forward to. Madam Speaker, a town the size of Gros Islet, would you believe, does not have a market? When I grew up, there was a market on Bay Street that was washed away by Tropical Storm Lenny. Madam Speaker, that market will be re-established, but this time on Marina Street, formerly known as Bridge Street, where the old Gros Islet police station was and the former youth center was. That building is going to be financed by the Caribbean Development Bank, and works are going to begin pretty soon. Again, it is at an advanced stage with all the drawings having been done. Some of the proposed projects for this year, Madam Speaker, which I'm sure the Gros Islet vendors will be happy to know that they would have a place to go where they cannot be harassed, Madam Speaker, or be displaced. And that is my style, Madam Speaker. I cater for the poor and indigent and those who are less fortunate, Madam Speaker, including vendors. The Gros Islet preschool, Madam Speaker, I said we're going to demolish the preschool at the old Gros Islet, at the old health center, and to build a new, modern, state-of-the-art preschool to house the young children of Gros Islet, and that will be done very soon, again, in an advanced stage that will be financed by the Caribbean Development Bank. Among our other plans, I've also already mentioned the Corinth Park that will be built, a court for Corinth, and that will come from my constituency funds, and a court for Grand Riviere that will also come from my constituency funds, Madam Speaker. We have ongoing right now a playing field in Monnier, undersized playing field, but they will also be receiving a court as long as we get the land space to do so. Madam Speaker, in terms of the vision for the development of Gros Islet, a company was brought in from the United States to look at rationalizing traffic and noise pollution and the overall development of the Rodney Bay area. I felt, Madam Speaker, if Rodney Bay Village would be looked at, it should not be looked at in isolation, because the Gros Islet town should serve as an overflow for what is happening in Rodney Bay, so that we can benefit to the maximum from the tourist industry, having the tourists to be able to access Gros Islet quite easily. And so we extended the study to be Rodney Bay Village and the Gros Islet town. I'm pleased to say the study, after much consultation was done, is complete, and the report has been handed, and I'm hoping that some funding will be provided by the Ministry of Economic Affairs to ensure that some rationalization takes place, and this is what Rodney Bay will look like, Madam Speaker, where there will be more pedestrian traffic, there will be better control of the traffic, noise reduction, all the signs being more orderly, and so on. And at the same time, we will also be looking at the village of Gros Islet, and this is what the already commenced waterfront will look like on Bay Street. If you notice, we are keeping the old colonial architecture, French architecture of Gros Islet, to maintain that kind of ambience and village feel to Gros Islet, where we will continue to serve as the hub for entertainment and social activities for tourists and locals alike. Madam Speaker, let me just say that the form of development that took place before, where they would acquire the lands from poor people, sell it to big investors, and the next day, the same poor people cannot buy a square foot of that land. That is not going to happen under my watch, Madam Speaker. We will assist the locals in developing their lands, and if they have to go into partnership with investors, they will use their land as equity. So at the end of the day, they still have a stake in those lands, because, Madam Speaker, we know that many of us who received an education is not because our parents had the money to send us to school, but fortunately, many poor people own land. They were able to mortgage that land, send their kids to school, and having broken the cycle where we were not just only kept poor, but not given an opportunity to participate in our future and in our destiny. That, Madam Speaker, is the style and approach of the Gros Islet parliamentary representative who will ensure that this is not just physical development, but wholesome development that includes the development of my people. Madam Speaker, talking about programs, infrastructural development, social development, we also are looking at economic development, as this picture will show you. In the community of Gros Islet, we recognize with the economic crisis, Madam Speaker, banks are tightening up. It's more difficult to get a loan. The interest rates are higher. The requirements are becoming more stringent. As a result, we are going to establish a Gros Islet Credit Union. A Gros Islet Credit Union, Madam Speaker, to incorporate the Fishermen's Cooperative, the farmers, and all and sundry, which I'm sure in short order will become the biggest credit union in St. Lucia, that will provide easier terms for our people to access funds for little things, like when the fisherman wants to buy an engine for $5,000, that his reputation can serve as security. That when people want to save, Madam Speaker, to encourage savings among our people, and of course we are hoping to that this credit union will reinvest its profits in the very community where it is the house. Madam Speaker, we are mindful of the needs of the indigent, the poor among us. And as such, my constituency office will be setting up a soup kitchen very soon to provide for the poor, particularly the elderly. Talking about the elderly, Madam Speaker, I promise that during my term, I'm going to ensure that we have a home for the elderly. Madam Speaker, recognizing the time that is left in this term, I am trying to accomplish this by the purchase of a building, so that as soon as we purchase the building, we would have had the home for the elderly. Madam Speaker, that I hope will be done very soon. I did not make that promise. However, we have recognized the need for a new police station, and I'm hoping that discussions that have begun can progress in terms of establishing that.
Honourable Member, 3 more minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'll also establish a music lab with a recording studio with instruments where young people can learn to play music, and that will cater particularly for my youth in the ghettos, an area where sometimes I go to during Fire Thursday, an activity that they have near the jetty, where they sing on the microphone and toast, and you'll be amazed at the kind of talent that exists there, Madam Speaker. We'll provide opportunities for them to harness that talent and make it an economic activity for them, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in addition to these and other developments, we must also cultivate the right attitudes as citizens and as individuals to avoid infringements on the rights and privileges of others, to safeguard and improve our environment, and to build a community spirit where peace, love, and spirituality will flourish, and that equality and justice is guaranteed to all. I say so, Madam Speaker, because I see a tendency now where people are disregarding the rights of others, the comfort and peace of others, where we seem to be a loud, disorderly community, Madam Speaker. People play loud music. And in the community of Gros Islet, where we have a lot of entertainment activity, and I have no problem with that. I live right in the heart of it, in the center of it, so I can speak to it. We have accepted, as a residential area, that on Friday nights, all and sundry will come and you can party till 2 in the morning with loud music and so on. But there must be a limit to everything, Madam Speaker. You cannot have that going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday is karaoke, Wednesday is Western, Sunday. I mean, there must be a limit and some controls. And I'm saying, Madam Speaker, I do not want to kill economic activity, but let's be mindful of others. Turn down the music after a certain time. Let's not have to institute laws for those things. Let's just be reasonable. Let's be hospitable to each other and ensure that we are mindful of each other's comfort, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish to thank all of those who have worked with me over the past 4 years, both at the ministerial and constituency level. Madam Speaker, these people have worked with me in making a number of gains during the term against many adversities and challenges, Madam Speaker. I wish to acknowledge the many foreign governments and agencies that have assisted and collaborated with us in our developmental trust. And I thank my staff at the Ministry of Public Service and Human Resource Development and the staff of the Ministry of Social Transformation, Youth and Sports, and all of my agencies, NCA, NLA, SSI, Bell Fund, and SSDF. Madam Speaker, I would like to also thank the staff of my constituency office, who are probably the hardest working constituency office staff, given the task of having to run this constituency, Madam Speaker. The member for Viewfort once said that this is an unmanageable constituency. Madam Speaker, he is wrong in the sense that it's being managed, and it's being managed properly. However, I must admit that we are being shortchanged as a constituency because the resources that are given to Gros Islet, given its size and population, is not adequate. And so I propose for a cut of that constituency so that the people in the north can get a more proportionate distribution of the wealth of this country that they so elaborately contribute to, Madam Speaker. Pardon? So that they elaborately contribute. Because I always say to my colleagues that equity does not always mean equal distribution, Madam Speaker. In this case here, if your constituency is 5 times smaller than my constituency, I'm supposed to get 5 times the resources that you get, especially when I contribute more than 5 times the resources of this country. So, Madam Speaker, I'm just making a pitch for the constituents. I wish to thank all constituents of Gros Islet for their patience, understanding, prayers, and support. I pledge to continue working for you, with you, as I have every confidence that you will afford me another opportunity to continue the weaving of a brighter future for Gros Islet. And this we will do hand in hand, you and I. Madam Speaker, I want to thank those who quietly campaign, assist in achieving the goals of positively changing the face of Gros Islet, those who lend support through prayer, an often inconspicuous but powerful source of strength, friends, old and new, and I subscribe to the view that one should make new friends, especially in the business of politics, Madam Speaker. But, Madam Speaker, one should keep the old, for as we know, one is silver, but the other is gold. And my family, Madam Speaker, who has been here with me, who has been there with me throughout the 4 years. And when I talk about my family, Madam Speaker, this does not only include my immediate family, my wife and children, one of whom is seated here, Adele Montut, witnessing these proceedings here. I hope you enjoyed it. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, my siblings, uncles, aunts, and cousins, when I talk of family, I include all of these people. These people can be found throughout the length and breadth of the constituency of Gros Islet in Grand Rivière, Margaret Tout, Monchy, Marisil, Desrameaux, Badouage, Redouy, Cap Estate, Casamba, and of course La Bonne, Madam Speaker, and the wider public, especially the older folks, and the youth, Madam Speaker. And I want to, when I talk of the youth, I want to particularly mention the Vivemol kids, Madam Speaker, of the Gros Islet Bay, and the theater group of Monchy, the Caille-Manger Football Club, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, and above all, I want to thank God. I want to thank God for his blessings and mercies, for giving me the guidance, strength, and good health to go on serving him and my people, Madam Speaker. I also want to thank honorable members in this honorable house, and Madam Speaker, I want to thank you. Thank you very much.
That was the Member of Parliament for Gros Islet, the Honorable Leonard Montut.